You're listening to School Counseling Simplified, a podcast with easy-to-implement strategies for busy school counselors. Here's your host, Rachel Davis from Bright Futures Counseling.
Let me guess, if you're anything like me, you probably love small groups and feel pretty good at your class lessons. But the one-on-one sessions can get a little awkward. You've played Jenga for the 100th time and you feel like people are walking by, looking in your office and like, what are they doing in there? Do you wish you had effective and engaging activities to use in your individual counseling sessions? Do you wish you had the data to back you up? Well, I've got you covered. I'm doing a free live training on how to use individual counseling curriculum to engage students and effectively track data. I'll be offering a couple different times because I know this time of year can be crazy busy, but I really hope you can prioritize this and make it. I'll be rewarding everyone who shows up live with a free individual curriculum set as well as a PD certificate. So go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/individual to save your seat. See you there. Hey there, thanks for listening to another episode of School Counseling Simplified. So I hope you found last week's episode super helpful and that you are interested in learning more about scheduling your class lessons. I know, who knew that I could do 4 episodes on this, guys? There's so much to cover. In today's episode, I'll be sharing with you game-changing tools for scheduling your class lessons. You are going to love these tech tools and find them super helpful. I know I did. So again, this is kind of a sneak peek of what I offer in my Stress-Free Class Lessons course. If you're interested in learning more and you want all the things about class lessons, go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/class lessons to check it out. Or if you're already looking into joining Impact, which is my monthly membership for school counselors, if you join at the annual package, then you also get included both of my courses, which is my Stress-Free Class Lessons course that I'm talking about and my Stress-Free School Counseling course. So if you join annual, not only do you save like over 16% on Impact itself and get all the perks there, but you get a bonus of 2 free courses. So go ahead and check that out at stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/impact. All right, let's dive into these game-changing tools. It's back to school season. Yay! I absolutely love the start of a new school year. It reminds me of when I was a kid getting all of my school supplies at the stores, you know, my big Lisa Frank binders and all of that fun stuff. But really, I was thinking about those Lisa Frank binders the other day and like what was up with the themes? There were dolphins on spaceships and like panda bears on rainbows, like just crazy stuff, but they were so fun. That's what I always think of when it comes to back to school. But what you're probably thinking of when it comes to back to school is, what am I going to do this year? Help! So I've got 2 freebies that you absolutely have to download. So the first one is a 30, 60, 90-day plan, and I give you a checklist of what you can do during your first 30, 60, and 90 days as a school counselor. This is a great way to break down that seemingly overwhelming to-do list that you have. So to snag that one, go to bit.ly/306090counseling. Again, bit.ly/306090counseling. And the other freebie I have, y'all, I'm so pumped for this one. If you haven't downloaded these lesson plans yet, you absolutely have to. I have for you a free year-long curriculum map telling you when to do and what to do every single month across every single tier. So these are lesson plans for elementary school counselors. I have in there like, you know, what class lesson, what small group, what individual activity, and which data tool to use and when to use it and how to use it. You're going to love these. Again, they're free counseling lesson plans for you guys. Go to bit.ly/counseling lesson plans to download those. It's bit.ly/counseling lesson plans. Okay, guys, I'm also going to throw the links in the show notes to make it a little easier for you. I hope you love these freebies and they make your school year so much fun. All right, back to the podcast. Welcome to lesson 2. In this lesson, I'll be showing you 3 game-changing scheduling tools to make scheduling a breeze. Like I said, lesson 2 is all about those game-changing scheduling tools. I'm going to show you 3 tech tools to help you schedule with ease, how to schedule your entire year in advance, and some strategies to keep your schedule manageable. Now, there's 3 tech tools that I'm obsessed with when it comes to scheduling. First, Google Sheets, which sounds simple and you're likely already using it, but maybe not in the terms of scheduling. Second, Calendly. You may have heard me talk about this app. I absolutely love it. And finally, your Google Calendar, which seems pretty obvious when it comes to schedule. So first up, Google Sheets. So I have an example here as a visual, and I'm going to do a walkthrough to show you exactly how to do this. But Google Sheets is where you can list available times and share the sheet with teachers so they can fill in their ideal times. So you're going to go in and you're going to list like different weeks and times that you're available, and then the teachers would have access to this form and they would write their last name by the times that work for them. So this way they can sign up for their own class lessons. This helps eliminate some of that back and forth email yo-yo where you're saying, hey, what's a good time for me to come in? And they're like, oh, not this time, maybe this time. And then you're like, oh, I can't do that time. This way, they're taking ownership, they're signing up for their time slots. Now, if you set this up in August, you can have them sign up for the entire school year. So at the bottom, you could have some tabs with the different months, and they could go in and sign up, for August, September, October, November, all of the months at once. So now I'm going to show you how you can use Google Sheets to have teachers sign up for class lessons. So as you can see here, I have at the bottom some tabs, and I have the topic of the lesson so the teachers will know as well. So August, meet the counselor. September, cyber safety. October, bullying prevention. Then I have the different weeks of that month and the different times. So they can see the dates and the times, and then they can click which one works best for them. So for example, if Miss Davis decides that she wants, August 2nd at 12:05, she would sign up there, and then someone else could sign up here. And everyone's editing it, so it's nice so you can see, no one's going to sign up for the same time. And again, then they would switch the tabs to sign up for different months. Like I said, you can encourage them to sign up for the entire school year at once here. So it's pretty simple. Again, you're in control of your availability here, so only put times that you actually want to do class lessons because there's a chance that people sign up for them. It's super simple. You just make this in Google Sheets. We have a template for you already in the resource library that you can download. It's this exact template, and then of course you would change the dates and the times and the topics to reflect your counseling program. Okay, that is one strategy to get class lesson signups from teachers. The second tech tool I love to use for scheduling is Calendly. So Calendly is awesome. It's a free scheduling website where teachers can sign up for a lesson time. It's like they book an appointment with you. It's super user-friendly on both ends, and I totally encourage you to check it out. So kind of like the spreadsheet that I just mentioned, but instead they're going to go in and they click the dates, and it already changes it for their time zone, which I'm assuming you're all in the same time zone, but that's just a cool feature. It'll show all the available times, so you go in and set your schedule ahead of time because you know when you have your other commitments, and then they can go in and pick what works best for them. This is something else, again, you could have them, go ahead and reserve times for the entire school year. If you look on the left-hand side there, you'll see that it has the location of the lesson, the duration of the lesson, and you can also include a Zoom link. It actually integrates with Zoom if this is going to be a virtual lesson. So now I'm going to show you Calendly and how you can have teachers book an appointment with you to schedule their class lessons. So basically, once you go into Calendly, you have to create an account. It's free, and then you have an event type. So I have here, what event is this? I call it classroom counseling lessons. Location, your classroom. Of course, you could edit this. And then I have instructions. So it says, please sign up for a time for me to come in and teach a counseling lesson. And here are the topics for each month. You can also change the URL there and the event color. There's a lot of flexibility there. Now, when can people book this event? So you can have them book up to 60 calendar days in the future, 90. If you want to do the whole year, you would put that there as well. The duration that they're going to be booking for, so 30-minute sessions are what I usually have, but maybe you have shorter or longer. And then you can set custom hours. So you'll pick your time zone, and then you can decide what times you're available here, and you would fill those in. So for example, let's say on Wednesdays, let's say you're available from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and you do it in military time, so that would be 14. Apply. Okay, and you can do that for each one. And that's basically it. They have a lot of additional options. I don't really do the additional options. There's a confirmation page or questions. I've never really done any of those. One thing you can do is you can include additional information here about your location, like where you're going to meet them, or just get the class number or something real specific there. And you could also put a Zoom link or something here as well. And if you do the Zoom link, it's automatically going to put it on your calendar, so it keeps everything consistent, which is really great. That's why I love this platform. Now let's view what it looks like in real life from the teacher perspective.
So the teacher would get a link and they're going to see this, okay? And they're going to say, okay, 30 minutes, sign up for a time with Rachel for June. Okay, I'm going to come in on Wednesday, 10 a.m. That sounds good. Confirm. And then they're going to enter their name and their email, and then they can share anything they want to share here, any notes or anything, and then schedule an event, and it will automatically be added to their calendar and to your calendar. So Calendly is awesome. It might take you a few minutes to get used to setting up your schedule, but once you set it up, it's so powerful. Like I said, the teacher view just looks like this. They get to schedule times for you. Then they could go into the next month, and the next month. You could have them pick all of their times going forward as well. Okay, guys, I hope you found that super helpful. I hope you're pumped to try Calendly. Like I said, it's a game changer tool, and it's absolutely free. I think it's personally better than using the Google Sheets method, but pick which one works best for you. Now, like I said, there's a few sign-up options here. So first up, teachers can sign up for their ideal time and day. So maybe they just sign up once. They're like, I want to do the first Tuesday of each month at 10 a.m. And then you could go in and schedule reoccurring lessons each month. So you're going to say, okay, first Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. That's what they picked for, all of the months, August, September, October, so on. The second option is that they can sign up for the year's worth of lessons at once. So that's kind of what I was saying before. They could go in and sign up for their ideal time each month. So maybe it varies. Maybe, some months they want the 10 a.m. on Tuesday, and some months they want the Friday at 2 p.m. Now, the pro to this is that you can schedule your whole year in advance, because the best part is once you have your class lessons scheduled, everything else seems to fall in place. You can then start scheduling your small groups and your individual sessions. But the con is that the teachers can get overwhelmed and they may experience schedule changes. So I've had this option before where teachers are like, well, I don't know what I'm going to be doing in April. I can't sign up for a lesson then. So they might feel a little overwhelmed. And then there might be a lot of changes where they have to go back and say, hey, I signed up for that time forever ago, but that's not going to work for me anymore. Your third option is to have teachers sign up each month for that month's lesson. So at the beginning of January, they're signing up for their January lesson. You could send out an email reminder with a link to Calendly or a link to your Google Sheet and say, hey guys, please sign up for this month's lesson. Now the pro is there's less schedule changes and people remember, right? Because they just signed up and their lesson will be coming up within 4 weeks. But the con is that it's a little trickier and more time consuming on your end because now you have to work around groups, etc. So, likely you already have groups scheduled, individual sessions scheduled, meetings, and so it's going to be a little trickier. You're going to have to redo your schedule at the start of each month, like redo your availability times in Calendly or on the Google Sheet. So I think the second option is the best, having them sign up for a year's lessons at once. And then if you need to change them, you can. But some teachers like the predictability. They can go ahead and just write it in their calendar and know that's when you're coming in. And oftentimes you'll see kind of like the first example where they want a consistent time. A lot of teachers, like the expectations and the clear schedule. Same with kiddos, right? They like to know what's coming and that consistency. So by choosing a consistent time and day each month, that's a good option for everyone as well. Now for my third scheduling tool I have for you, it is Google Calendar. So the first two are kind of, you get to pick, right? Choice A is to do the Google Sheet or choice B is to do Calendly. Regardless of which one you choose, you're then going to also use your Google Calendar. So these kind of work together. So once the teachers sign up for a preferred time, you're going to create a reoccurring calendar invite with reminders. So I'm about to show you how to do this. But basically, you'll have the class lesson, their last name. You could include any like Zoom information here if this is a virtual lesson, the location of the lesson, the duration of the lesson, and then you can invite them as a guest so then they can see it on their end and add it to their own calendar. Now, if you are using Calendly, this part's done for you because Calendly does integrate with Google Calendar. So once they make a Calendly appointment, it just pops up on your Google Calendar and it pops up on their calendar as well. So you don't even have to go in and manually do it. If they're signing up on Google Sheets, then you'll have to go in and manually do this part. So let's take another peek at Google Calendar in action here. So as you can see, this is a picture of a schedule, like a counseling schedule once you have a lot of things scheduled. So in green, I have my class lessons. So I like to keep them all a consistent color. And the reason I like to do this is so at a glance, I can quickly look and say, oh, well, I have 2 class lessons today, or I have 6 class lessons this week. Just at a simple glance, you can go ahead and tally those up. I also have my groups as the same color and my individual sessions as the same color. And then any duties or parent meetings or other things are a color. So as you can see there, at a glance, you can already kind of see what to expect. Like I said before, I like to schedule my class lessons first, preferably in advance a few months or even the whole school year. So then I can start to fill in the small groups and individual sessions, any meetings I have, and your schedule will start to get pretty full, but you know that you're going to make time for those class lessons because you don't want to miss them. It's the worst if you're like, oh, well, I couldn't come to this lesson because this kiddo dropped in, blah, blah, blah. But if you have your lessons scheduled first, that's your first priority, right? Because other people are involved here. You have teachers involved, 30 kiddos involved. Then your small groups are your next priority. Because again, other people are involved. You have a group of kids. Then your individuals, one more person's involved. So it's a little easier to reschedule an individual than to reschedule a group, and much easier than to reschedule an entire class lesson. So that's why the class lessons take priority, and I encourage you to do them first. So schedule them first, everything else falls into place. And like I said, I love color coding it so you can see exactly what it looks like. So now I'm going to show you how you can use Google Calendar for your class lessons. So once you decide how you're going to have teachers sign up, so maybe they're signing up using Calendly, or maybe they're signing up using Google Sheets. Either way, once you have those times, you need to put it on your calendar. Now, Calendly is beneficial here because it does it for you. So if the teacher, creates a session time with you in Calendly, then it will automatically populate on your calendar. So you don't really have to do anything. You could change the color of it. I'm going to talk about color coding here in a minute. But other than that, you don't have to do anything. So that's what's great about Calendly. But let's say they're signing up on Google Sheets, then you need to manually make a calendar invite. So here is an example of my schedule. I have it color coded so you can see all the class lessons are in green. I have class lesson : and the teacher's last name. You can also see I have my individual sessions in blue. Groups are in this red color, pink color, and then everything else is kind of in a purple color. So this way, at a glance, I can say, oh, wow, I have, 5 lessons this week, or I have 2 lessons on Thursday. So before you even read them or get into the weeds, you can just quickly see what you can expect from your calendar. But on the class lessons, I want to show you what you can do here. So once you create one, so let's say that you look at your Google Sheet and you see that someone signed up for Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. So you're going to click on here, 1:30 p.m. It's going to be a half-hour lesson. And this is going to be a class lesson and then their last name. So we'll just use a generic last name here. And then we're going to change the color to be our class lesson color. Now I like to go to more options. So here you can decide if it's going to repeat or not. So let's say that this teacher decided that they want the same time every month. That's ideal, right? They're saying, I want the same time every month for the rest of the school year. So you can click, okay, they want it monthly on the 3rd Tuesday of every month. Perfect. Now, if you want to do it virtually, you could always add the Google Meet option here. If you want to not, you could add location. You could say your classroom. And then you can always write any notes, that if you want them to know something ahead of time, you could also put a Zoom link here or something if it's virtual as well. But here's the fun part. You want to invite them. So you want to add the guest. So to add the guest, you're going to click here, and then you would type in their email. Now, this is a made-up person, so I don't have their email, but you would add their email there, and then it's going to send them an invite, and it's going to appear on their calendar. Now, I love this because then they can get reminders, and you can actually decide when they get those reminders. So you can hit notification and you can say, okay, I want them to know, let's see, 1 day before. So the day before I come in, I want them to get a reminder saying, oh, class lesson tomorrow. And then I want them to get a reminder maybe like 30 minutes before. So even if they forgot, they're like, oh, the counselor's coming in 30 minutes. I need to wrap up what I'm doing. And then you hit save, and then it'll ask you, if I did put an email there, it would ask if I wanted to send those details to someone to send the event. And you would say yes. So now Mrs. Smith has on her end the same view. She has a class lesson, and she has those reminders set up for her as well. Okay, so I hope you found this helpful. Like I said, I love to do a little color coding here as well. And I always recommend you scheduling your class lessons first and as far in advance as possible, because then you're going to get busy, you're going to start to get referrals, and then you can add in those small groups and individual sessions. Okay, guys, so that's how you can use Google Calendar to schedule your class lessons. So this is time consuming and a lot of work up front, but it is so worth it. It's way better to do this at once so you're prepared. This way you're not stressed and crunched for time throughout the school year. If you can do this in August at the start of the year, it's even better because you likely have more time to spend on this task. You're probably not going to get a lot of referrals until a few weeks in, maybe a month into school, but this first month you can spend all your time getting your class lessons scheduled. I have a scheduling tip for you. Think practically about your schedule and remember you are in control. So what I mean by this is think about your own style and personality. I used to never do lessons on Mondays. For my availability, I wouldn't even have Monday as an option on there because I know myself. I used to travel a lot on the weekends and on Mondays I would be so tired, and it happened a few times where I'm showing up at school, kind of flustered, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a 9 a.m. lesson or an 8 a.m. lesson. I'm not prepared. And it just created a lot of unnecessary stress. But if I knew I had Monday as like a catch-up day to kind of prep everything for the week, then I was so prepared and ready to go for my lessons on Tuesday. Or think about holidays. Another reason Mondays are kind of a good one to skip. Oftentimes school holidays happen on Mondays. So if you have all of these teachers who have reoccurring class lessons on Mondays, you're probably likely having to reschedule them because you may have like a President's Day, Martin Luther King Day, all kinds of holidays I feel like always fall on Mondays. So it makes sense to, block off a Monday or maybe block off a day that you always have like an early release or a crazy type schedule. Maybe you always have early release on the first Wednesday of the month. Maybe don't allow people to schedule lessons that Wednesday because then you'll find that you're constantly having to reschedule them, which is going to be time consuming and taxing on you. So that's my tip for you. You're in control. You get to choose your availability. So don't feel like you have to have all of your available times listed. Think about the ones that work best for you. Okay, guys, that was a lot. I hope you found lesson 2 super helpful. I hope you're excited to try out these 3 tech tools and that they'll help you schedule with ease. You also learned how to schedule your entire year in advance and strategies to keep your schedule manageable. Now, I want you to take action now. So what you can do is create a Calendly account. It's completely free. Try it out, see if it's the right fit for you. Also, you can set up a Google Sheets sign-up form. So I have a template for you inside the resource library. So go ahead, download the template, and you can just customize it to fit your own needs. Those two you can kind of, look at side by side and decide which sign-up form is going to work best for you. And lastly, figure out your available time. So like I was saying, you want to make your schedule work for you. So really sit down and think about what time am I at my best self to deliver a class lesson. If you're more of a morning person, maybe you want to start the day with your lessons and schedule them all in the morning. Or maybe if you really feel better after lunch, you would like to do your lessons then. Maybe you like to start in the morning with groups and individual sessions. You're the one who's in control. You get to pick that availability.
Thanks for listening to School Counseling Simplified. You can find the links from today's episode in the show notes. If you'd like to connect with Rachel, she's on Instagram and Teachers Pay Teachers at Bright Futures Counseling. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes of School Counseling Simplified. Talk to you next week.